William, after this winter, I need a reason to celebrate.
Judy, I have exactly what you need. This is the 12th season of Garden Time. Woohoo!
Welcome to Garden Time and welcome to our 12th season. And thank you to all you viewers and to our wonderful sponsors for making 12 seasons happen.
And a big thank you to Burl out here at Villa Catalana for this wonderful wine. In fact, later on in the show, we're going to be talking to Burl about plants, which he also has a great selection of. And this wonderful winter weather we've had has caused some damage. You're going to find out about that and what you can do in your own garden.
And also coming up in the show today, we'll show you how to start seeds for your vegetable garden.
But coming up first, how to prune those roses.
Cheers. Well, what a beautiful day to be at Washington Park at the International Rose Test Garden with Harry Landers. And Harry, it's not really a great day, but we need to talk about roses because it's March. So we've had a really bad winter, it's still snowing, and we have roses to prune. So should we be pruning them?
Definitely. Yeah.
So even though it's cold but they're showing signs of life, we really need to do it.
We really do. You've got to get it done.
Ah, okay.
And we're all done with all three gardens.
Oh, already? Wow. Yeah. Wow, so you guys have been busy down here.
We have.
And so to show us a little bit of what we should be doing, just a little primer of how we should be pruning this rose right here.
Okay, well, we try to keep growth like this. Nice.
So come down about below knee.
Well, just around knee. This is a young rose. It's
okay.
A 1 year old. And then little stuff like this.
Take it right off.
All that off.
And are you looking to go for outside buds so the growth goes outward? Or?
We don't worry about any of that stuff.
Okay.
So just prune the rose.
And you want air circulation. You want to cut down to maybe 5 or 6 canes for a rose?
Don't even worry about that.
So what should we worry about?
Cutting the rose.
Okay.
Try to get the nice straight growth. Get rid of a little twiggy stuff like this.
Okay.
Because this is all it did last year. It's not going to do more next year. So get rid of it, take it down into here.
Okay, so nice thick stems.
Yes. We try to save nothing smaller than a pencil.
Okay.
And the more stems you have, the more flowers you'll have.
Okay.
So don't count stems, don't worry about angles, because we prune the rose every year.
Okay.
A shrub that may not come back to 10 years to prune, okay, then I worry about angle cut and outward buds and all that, but not on the roses.
So make it easy and don't fret about it, and you really want flower growth.
Yep, exactly.
And then what about fertilizer? Is this a time for fertilizer too?
Way too early for roses.
Okay.
We'll do it somewhere around the middle of April, when the growth is about 3 or 4 inches long.
All right.
Then we fertilize.
Okay, and wait for the soil to warm up a little bit, the weather to kind of mellow out a little bit to get some kind of growth going.
Yes, that's just what you need.
All right. And we have to talk about also what's going on this year at the Rose Garden.
Well, it's our centennial. We're made it 100 years.
That's wonderful.
So it's going to be a few things planned. In August, we're going to have a community day.
Oh, fun.
Where the public will be invited. The details are still being worked on that.
Okay.
And then in August also, we are having a wine and food gala here in the garden.
Wow.
It'll be a fundraiser for the garden.
Lovely.
We'll also have a centennial rose.
Ah.
That's not been named yet. It'll be an exclusive. Star Roses gave us the roses. Dennis's 7Ds and Anderson Dye gave us the pots. And the Park Grill gave us the soil. We're going to have a bunch of roses that we're going to be selling. So 100% of the money will stay in the Garden Trust Fund.
Ah.
And then in September, we will be having a new interpretive sign program to be inaugurated. So you can come to this garden and do what's being worked on now, the details, but you can find out what the test garden's about, the Queen's Walk is all about. And then we're going to have a large basalt column up there in the office that will have all the names of the curators for the last 100 years.
Oh, and that's so important because, man, you guys have done such a wonderful job here keeping this place going that we can all enjoy.
Well, thank you, Judy.
And really, and this is your last year for the garden, and you are retiring and going on, I'm sure, to bigger and better things.
I sure plan on it, yes.
Well, we'll have to catch up with you, too, in the future. But in the meantime, if you want to find out about the rose, what the name is, and where you can get it, stay tuned to Garden Time website and our Facebook page, and we'll post all that information. Harry, we'll be seeing you a lot this year.
I sure hope so.
Take care.
Garden Time is brought to you by Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
Hi, I'm Sarah from Portland Nursery, where spring is our favorite time of year. It's the time to prepare your garden for planting. We invite you to get a jump on spring with our huge selection. Let Portland Nursery's staff of professionals help with groceries you can grow. We've got the seeds, veggie starts, and expertise to ensure your success. Visit portlandnursery.com for a list of classes and special events. Portland Nursery, helping make your backyard your favorite destination at 50th and Stark and 90th and Division.
Since 1982, the Wall has been making local gardens beautiful, naturally. Whether you need a new wall, concrete patio, fire pit, or driveway, the Wall's expert craftsmen can build it. We back up our work with a 5-year warranty, so you'll know it'll last. We use the highest quality materials, including stamped colored concrete, natural stone, and we're the leader in using recycled concrete. Create an outdoor environment you'll enjoy for years, with the help of your friends at The Wall.
So as each new season comes around the corner to us, we have to start thinking about things that are happening in that season. Today we're going to be talking about seed starting because we all want to get that jump on our vegetable gardens. So a couple things to remember when you're growing seeds. You can certainly just, if you've saved these like 4-inch pots from previous seasons in your garden, you can certainly just wash them out. Make sure you wash them out good, but you can wash them out and use them. But there's also a whole host of different type of compartmentalized seed starting things you can buy at independent garden centers. So once you decide how you want to grow the seeds and what container you're going to use them in, the next really important step is what kind of soil. We really like the black gold seedling mix. We know it's clean and we know that it's really made well and it's ready for seed starting. Now you might say to yourself, hey, I'm just going to go grab some garden soil because that's really nutritious. It is if you've composted well, but then also remember outside there can be all kinds of disease in it, there can be insects, there can be things that would really attack those young fresh seedlings before they even get started, so you really don't want to do that. Now, once you get this going, you might also think about a dome or a cover. Now you can get those, we have chosen not to do that, but you can certainly put a dome on them to help maintain the moisture. Also with seed starting mix, it's often very dry, but we've already pre-moistened this a little bit because you do not want to put fresh started seeds in really dry soil and then try to make them moist. That just doesn't work.
It's also good to choose really good seed, and make sure that it's packaged for this year. And you can find all that information right on the packages. We chose Renee Garden seeds and also Nickel Garden Nursery seeds. And Nichols is a company right here in Oregon. You'll find all the information you need right on the front of the package, or Renee's is all on the back. You'll find out how long it takes for the germination of the seed, how far apart you want to put them in the garden, and also how long it'll take before you can harvest the fruit. So we chose to use cucumber seed. Now all seeds are going to be different size. Cucumber seeds are pretty big, so we wanted to be able to show you. So we're going to put one of these seeds inside one of the cells, and we're going to take just a regular pencil to make a hole, and then just drop the seed in there, cover it up, and then we're going to just make sure that we add some moisture just so that soil is nice and moist to help the seed germinate. Another great tip is to mark what you plant. Don't rely on your memory. Use some kind of a stake, mark what kind of vegetable it is and the date, that's really important, and then put it right in the soil. Now that you have all your plants planted and you have them marked, don't forget to maintain great moisture with the seedlings. You can't let these seeds dry out for even a minute or you have to start all over again.
Two other things that you really do need to pay some attention to is both the light and the heat. Seeds tend to want a lot of consistency in that, so you have to find a southern or a western window so you get plenty of light. Now remember, if you have a bunch of big trees or a 2-story house next to you that blocks the light, that's really not light. So if you don't have that kind of light, you can always get all different kinds of lighting systems that would work anywhere in your house. As far as the heating goes, most of us keep a house about 70 degrees. That will be fine if it's maintained at that. But if you're dropping down to the low 60s, you can always get a heating pad. Many garden centers carry them, and that will help you keep a truly consistent heat until those seedlings take start.
So now it's time to think of the last step. It's been a couple weeks now and your plants are actually starting to grow. You want to wait until the leaves have a second set of leaves on the stem. Then you know that the plants are really coming along and they're going to be old enough to get out into the garden. You also want to pick up the little tray packs and see if you see little white roots coming out from the tray pack. As you can see, there's no roots starting out, and so we know that these are not ready to go outside. It's also a little bit chilly to go outside yet, so you want to check with your seed packages to see when they recommend that the seedlings go outside, or go to the OSU website to see when they recommend the transplants be put out in the garden for the season.
So now if this went a little too fast for you, remember you can always go to gardentime.tv where we have all kinds of information on you starting your own seeds for your garden.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
I've been a Capital Subaru customer for 15 years, and one of the main reasons is because they treat me well and I want to shop local. The service department is excellent, and I always feel like I'm taken care of here. In fact, they call me now even after I've driven off the lot to remind me to come in and get my car washed. That's service. One of the reasons why I like coming to Capital Subaru, actually, they have the dog area, and I can just walk my dog around the whole area and we can enjoy the outside. I got it my way on the Parkway.
Over the 30 years that our family has been in the nursery industry, we've learned that anyone can supply a customer with plants and garden supplies. But it's supplying those plants and supplies backed by a knowledgeable staff that can transform a garden and take it from ordinary to extraordinary. That's what we do at Sagawa Nursery. Why be ordinary when you can be extraordinary? Sagawa Nursery, growing beyond the ordinary.
Judy,
Yep.
Do you remember when I asked you if you liked me? I mean, if you really liked me?
Yeah, I liked you on Facebook.
Yeah, well, I need you to do that again.
Well, we really need everyone to like the new Facebook page for Garden Time. So you just go to gardentime.tv and click on the Facebook icon and like us again for our brand new page.
Well, I'm really delighted to be out at one of my favorite gardens with one of my favorite gardeners, and I'm here with Burl from Rare Plant Research. And Burl, you've consistently done wonderful things with bringing in plants that we can kind of push the envelope with and see how they survive. And this was a hard winter for you.
It was.
So it was for all of us,
Yes.
wasn't it? So we wanted to come out and talk about some plants that show damage, that were damaged, and tell us about them. And let's start with olives, because you have an awful lot of them here.
Yes, this is a Sevillano olive tree, and typically with olives, below zero, and it will maybe kill them back to the ground, but they'll come back from the roots. But you really don't want that. I mean, I don't recommend planting these where it gets to zero. Although we had 9 degrees this last winter. With olives, typically, if you look at some of these leaves, there's really no damage on them, but there's a few others, like from this branch. You can see there's some leaves that are discolored, and these leaves will eventually exfoliate, and you'll have just a stem, and we call that tip dieback.
Okay.
And that occurs even in California, and when we get a hard freeze. And so it's pretty normal that olives will get tip dieback, but the rest of the tree generally is fine.
So right now, if people want to jump on it and get out cleaning up their yard, don't be cutting stuff yet.
No, you wouldn't
see
want
what
to cut it back yet. In fact, with tip dieback, I usually wait until late spring to cut, after new growth started to come out.
And then right behind you, Burl, there is a plant that I know a lot of people would look at in their garden and say, oh yeah, this is gone, this is dead. It's not though, is it?
Yes, this is a dwarf agapanthus, variegated agapanthus, and most of the energy is stored in the succulent roots.
Yeah.
And so as long as that tip of the plant, or I should say the apical meristem, or the growing point, is below ground, but more where it's freezing, it will be fine. So the foliage freezes off and it just comes right back from in the spring.
And so you could certainly just clean up that mess.
Yeah,
if you
I would
wanted
clean
to.
that up. I just haven't done it yet.
Now this one looks like a plant divided. It looks very healthy down low and yet some damage on top.
Yes, this is Yucca linearifolia, and I'm actually really surprised that there's damage here. These are actually hardy in Denver.
Oh wow.
But I dug this out of the garden last April and moved it here, and so it was pretty stressed because they're pretty much bare rooted.
Sure.
And what's interesting to me is these pups down here hardly have any damage, where the mother plant is really severely damaged. Now, I'm not convinced that this is dead.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that even though the tip is damaged, they can branch out there
From down there.
From down there.
So you might clean up.
Yeah, I'll
but you're
clean
gonna
this
wait
stuff up, but I'll wait on
and
this.
see what happens. You also have some great palms over there. Tell me about some of those and the damage you're seeing.
Yes, now these two are Trachycarpus wagnerianus, and these I planted also in April last year, and there's actually more damage than I expected.
Wow.
Now we also have wagnerianus in another part of the garden that's been in the ground for 12 years. No damage at all, and I really believe that part of the reason there's damage is because the plant really wasn't well established yet.
Right,
We
right.
had that real cold.
And that would make sense if you put in something young, much like with us. When we're young, we're more susceptible to diseases. As we get older, we get stronger, so that would make sense.
Except when you get as old as me, then it starts to go the other
We're
way.
both in that same boat. I look down here and it makes me want to cry a little bit. Tell me
Yes.
what's going on here.
This is agave ovatifolia, and probably in Portland would have been hardy, but here they clearly didn't make it. What's interesting though, with the temperatures that we had a 1-2 punch in January, and the first temperatures we got was around 11 here.
Wow.
And it damaged a lot of the lower leaves, but the main part of the plant was fine. And I thought, oh, well, there's some damage, but these are going to be fine. Well, a week later, we got hit with 9 degrees, and that second punch just wiped it out.
And so when this stuff, I mean, this should be rigid, but it's really, it's really mushy.
That is like gone, you know.
And there it goes. So you're gonna, the ones that you know, because of the way you know how they grow, that'll
this is going to go out.
But you're going to keep these for a little bit
Yeah, I'm going
longer.
to keep those over there just to see it. They may make it.
And then right over here, there's a really cool plant that has some great showing on it. Let's go over there and check out that one. Okay, bro, before we jump into the shrub we were talking about, I think this is a classic example for home gardeners, this plant right here, about you don't know and it might still be okay. Tell me about it.
This is the horned poppy, and actually even in a mild winter it will look like this. So the old growth all dies off, we get just a little bit of warmth, new growth starts coming on. That will completely fill up that whole area there by late spring.
And now, go ahead.
And so you don't want to cut that back too soon.
Yeah, you want to let it go. Now this one, I can see what I consider damage on this too, but then some that isn't at all.
This is Grevillea McQuilliana, and look at this. I mean, this is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
This, going to be some damage. This, you can see actually there's a few leaves even falling off. And this I will trim back anyway because it's getting a little bit big for this area. But I'll wait probably till I see some new growth.
Yeah, because even here, I mean, you can see where leaves have fallen off, but they're still, it's still alive.
It's still alive, and it's really not damaged very much. I mean, there's a little bit of damage on the leaves, but I think it's going to be perfect.
And this, I'm not going to get close to this one, you understand, but this beauty here.
Yes, this is Yucca Faxoniana, and it's one of the largest yuccas that are hardy here. You can see there's just a little bit of damage in a couple of places here, but other than that, it's going to be fine. And so I'm very pleased. This actually I transplanted in March here and bare rooted it.
Wow.
And it's doing great.
And you've got, you are open on the weekends so people can come out and not only look at plants, but they can also have some wine from your wine cellar.
That's true. Our winery's open from 1 to 4. Now the nursery's not open. That won't be open until May. But the winery's open from 1 to 4. People can come out and taste wine and look at some dead plants and look at some live ones too.
That's right, because you have plenty of both. And they can also spend some time and really get some great information on maybe some of the stuff they have in their own garden that they've even gotten from you.
That's certainly possible.
Well, for more information on this amazing garden and the great wine as well, go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to their website. Come out and enjoy the beauty of the cycle of life in a garden. Thank you so much, Burl.
Good seeing
Appreciate
you. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Blooming Junction, where it's easy to connect with nature. At Blooming Junction, you'll find beautiful, healthy plants, good, fresh food, and a place to regain peace and calm in your life. We have an unsurpassed collection of unique and distinctive plants and the expertise to help any gardener be successful. And we feature blooming advantage plants. Come check out Blooming Junction for an inspiring experience in the garden or in the kitchen. Blooming Junction, offering quality plants for beautiful gardens.
Clement Gander started Standard TV and Appliance in Southeast Portland in 1947.
Today, Standard's celebrating Founders Days with price cuts on dozens of top brands in every category. Washers and dryers starting at $309, refrigerators as low as $339, dishwashers starting at $249, and a Beauty Rest Queen mattress for only $398.
Oregon-based and family-owned for 70 years. Hurry, Founders Day ends Sunday at Standard TV and Appliance.
Your garden is only as good as the ingredients you use. That's where Black Gold can help. Black Gold Seedling Mix is formulated for successful seed germination and strong seedling growth. Black Gold Seedling Mix is organic and OMRI listed, so you can start this year's organic garden outright. Look for Black Gold at your local garden center or go online to blackgold.bz. Black Gold, all the riches of the earth.
Locally grown, fresh from the farm, stylish and sustainable, your dream yard starts at Owl's Garden Center. Brighten up your outdoor spaces with colorful, easy-to-grow pansies, now on sale for just 89 cents each. We've brought in a huge variety from the farm where we grow all of our plants with care, so you get the brightest, healthiest pansies available. Many colors to choose from, and they're on sale now. Owl's Garden Centers in Woodburn, Sherwood, and Gresham.
Well, certainly we all know that spring is arriving here in our area, and yet sometimes we're really itching to get some beautiful color and blooms inside right now. So we're going to give you a couple of ideas on how you can do that with certain trees and shrubs.
William, we went out to the garden and found these beautiful branches. They're flowering cherries, flowering plums. We have some forsythia and also some flowering quince, which really help to brighten up this room.
They really do. Now, we want to give you a couple of tips when you do this. When you go out to the garden, you can certainly just prune them off at any shape, and then you can take a hammer, and all you do is just gently kind of tap them a couple of times, and what that does is allow them to take up water a bit faster so that they can open up quicker.
And on this forsythia, there's another technique where you take sharp pruners and you actually just kind of shear that bottom instead of smashing it, and that opens up the stem to take up more water. And when you do choose, you want to find some that are already kind of starting to swell. It really helps them when you get them in the water to pop in your home.
Yeah, between the water and the temperature of the house, they really open up, and that will have you bring in a beautiful set of blooms a little early into your house. So I am standing out in a field with Rich from Smithberry Barn, and you're going to be talking about pruning because we've talked about this a lot with you, but this time of year, you've already done some stuff. Tell me what you've done and why.
So this time of year, the old canes have been cut out. We've put the new canes up on the wire and tied them. So these were the fleshy green canes that grew all last summer.
Yeah.
So by end of summer, we actually do it in January. I take all the new green canes and we put them inside the double wire at the bottom just to kind of corral them.
Sure.
And then we tie with biodegradable twine at the top. And then we actually cut 6 inches off, or I cut about a foot off, as opposed to letting, you might have 10-foot canes somewhere.
Okay.
So we keep all the fruiting spurs from here because we do a lot of U-pick, so it's easier for people to pick at this level.
Yeah, sure.
So when I cut out all the old canes, you cut them off as low. You see a lot here that are old from last year. These actually fruited last year. We cut those off and we throw them in the row. I'll come back with a mower and we'll mow all that down, mulch it right back into the ground.
And so really then, in this coming year then, these are the ones that are going to bear fruit,
Correct.
Right? And those will be the ones that will be gone next year.
Correct.
Then.
Yeah, so these will be gone. It's a 1-year process,
Nice.
so a 2-year process. So
Yeah.
These grew all last season and they fruit this season, and then they're gone.
And then they're gone, and the new ones that grow up this year is the ones that will be there.
Correct. That way you ensure the highest quality fruit. You're going to get as much tonnage as the plant's going to put out.
Okay, sounds good to me. Now we've got some other stuff to talk about, so let's take a walk over here and we'll
Sounds good.
talk about that too. So Rich, you just showed us how to prune raspberries, and really that's pretty much true for all the cane fruit family, that kind of pruning, right?
Correct.
Now we're standing at a pear tree, and we've talked about apple pruning before, but what is the difference, if any, about pruning pears?
Pears are almost the same basic concept as an apple. They fruit on second year wood, so anything that grew last year. So you really want to make sure like you cut enough off. So like this was all last year's growth, and so I mean if you didn't cut this off this year, you could have fruit way up there the next year in your tree.
For one thing, it's very, very big.
It's a lot, and it's hard
That's
for people to do that. I mean, so really what you do is this is all new growth. So your fruit next year is going to be formed here. I mean, so I'd rather have a nice clump of pears here next year, then the branch will support it that way. If you didn't cut that and you had fruit everywhere, it's either going to be small fruit and it's just going to be too much for the tree, and you can keep it, for a homeowner, you can keep the tree, like this tree is 18, 19 years old and it's still only 10 feet tall.
Because you, tell me if I'm wrong here, because you want it to actually get light.
Correct. And so the way I prune, or we prune, there's two schools of thought. This one's like Christmas tree prune, meaning so each year we cut this new growth down. If you look, it's like a hand, so like new growth from last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and it's all on that open hand. So all the fruit's going to form here, and you get good light on top to color the fruit and make it nice. And then you see actually these are all going to, the fruits here, these are
That's
actually,
right there. Yep.
These are going to open their flower buds. So all your fruit's going to be concentrated kind of right here where it's tight, and that way it gives good support and good light.
Now, and it makes perfect sense when you hear it or read it, but it really helps to actually see it. And you've got something coming up next weekend that'll help. What is that?
We give like free seminars each spring,
Nice.
and so I have a fruit tree pruning seminar. We do it in the morning. It's kind of a hands-on walking tour. People ask questions. I kind of show them how to do it commercially and homeowner-wise.
And will that information be on your website?
It is on our website, so check our website for the time.
Well, you know, there are reasons why we prune, and a great way to figure all that out is to come on out here next weekend. You can go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over, get an exact time. Come out and really learn how to take care of your own cane fruit and fruit trees in your own garden. Thanks so much, Rich.
Yeah, sure.
We want to thank you for watching today, and we want to thank you for making 12 years of Garden Time possible.
We also wanted to give a big thank you to Burl out here at Villa Catalana. And, you know, don't forget that every Saturday from 1 to 4, you can come on out, try some of this delicious wine, and stroll through these beautiful gardens.
For more information about any of the things you saw in today's show, please go to gardentime.tv.
Thanks for watching. We'll do this again next week, right here on Garden Time. Hit me again, Burl.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Don't you just love all the things inside Garden Time magazine? So much great information about gardening.
I do, William. There's new plants, adventures, recipes, local gardeners, home tips.
And it's free, right in your email. But there's two things you left out.
What's that?
You and me. We write some of the articles and get to share our gardening knowledge.
Of course. I should have... William, where did you go?
Right here, Judy. You'll find both of us every month in Garden Time magazine.
Sign up for your free subscription on the Garden Time website.
The proceeding was a paid program of the Guston Creative Group and its sponsors.